out of the night when the full moon is bright.
G'day, welcome back to RC Model Reviews. You're here to find out some more about the Radiomaster Zorro. Yeah, it's a radio every man and his dog's been reviewing. They're all saying it's wonderful, it's fantastic, it's their daily drive, it's the best thing since sliced bread, it's a brilliant radio. And to some extent, I've got to agree, it is a pretty damn nice radio, but you didn't come here for that, did you? No, you know, when you come here, I'm prepared to tell it like it is, warts and all. No commercial imperatives, and I've taken a bit longer to look at this radio. I didn't rush my review out. I did a bench segment, and I thought, no, I won't get that out straight away, because every man and his dog is telling you that it's got switches here, and buttons there, and dials there, and the power button does this, and look how bright the screen is. They did that. This is stuff you can get from the manufacturer's website. So why would I tell you all this stuff again? If you want to know what all the buttons and dials are, just go and have a look at someone else's review. Or go to the manufacturer's website and it'll tell you all the stuff like that. What I'm going to tell you is the stuff that you need to know over and above the showcase reviews that you've seen so far. I mean, not all reviews of showcase, but a lot of reviews tend to be showcase reviews. The first out the door, I've just got this is my first impression. You get that, a lot of that, because everyone's chasing clicks and views on YouTube. You know, if you're the last one to get your review out, no one's going to watch it. They've seen all the others. Well, I don't care. I want to give you some more in-depth knowledge and information about this radio, especially because it is probably a radio a lot of people are going to want to buy. And you're probably right now thinking, should I buy it? Well, hopefully when you've watched this video, you'll know whether you want to buy it or not. But let's have a look. It is a nice radio. It's a mid-size radio. I say mid-size because it's bigger than the T-Lite. Do I have a T-Lite? I think I do. Hang on. Oh, here it is. Don't worry. Everything's at hand. Don't panic. There's the T-Lite. There is this. Look at this. Quite a size difference here if I put it against the T-shirt. See how much bigger this radio is than that radio. And that's a good thing, actually. I love the T-Lite because it's small and easily carried around, but I love this because it's bigger. How does that work? Well, it's bigger because it's just a wonderful fit in your hand. This is just perfect. It fits your hands, or at least it fits my hands, absolutely perfectly. I couldn't wish for a more ergonomic radio. All the switches are in the right place, the dials are under your fingers, the sticks are nice. It's just, and it's got enough heft to feel like it's quality, but it's not so heavy as to make your arms tired. You'll never need the neck strap. Grub up, man up, lift some weights. So yeah, it is fantastic ergonomics on this radio. Love it. But there's been a few negative things. The only negative things I've seen other reviewers say about this is in relation to the batteries. Now, this doesn't use an 18650. We all know 18650s. They are the long, round, cylindrical batteries that go into vapes and a whole lot of other stuff these days. And transmitter manufacturers have latched onto the fact that, well, these batteries are cheap, readily available, and they're very, very consistent in terms of shape, size, and performance. So they've been using 18650 cells. Typically, the full-size radios, 2 18650 cells, and that can give you like 7-8 hours of operation. And people are expecting that now. They want 8 hours of operation because the whole flying day could be 8 hours. But so when the Radiomaster came out with 18350 batteries, which are just about half as long, with half as much capacity, a lot of people were saying, it's no good. It's no good. The battery life will be too short. And I thought, yeah, that sounds reasonable. But then I thought, well, I'll test that out. I'm not going to take anyone's word for it. So I got my ViFly 150 quad from years ago, which I really still enjoy flying. Bound it up to this. Then I put this on the charger, charged it till it was full. And then I started flying packs. And I flew all the packs I had on the ViFly 150. This was still going. So I thought, okay, I left this on and I recharged all my battery packs. And I flew them all again. This was still going. So I left this on, recharged my packs. Anyway, the low battery warning on this radio didn't come on until I'd had it turned on continuously for 4 hours and 25 minutes. And I don't know about you, but I was getting sick and tired of flying by then. That's a long time. The size of the battery does not, in any real terms or reality, affect the useful amount of use you're going to get out of this transmitter. If you fly for more than 4.5 hours at a stretch, good to you. You're a Superman. I don't think I know anyone that does that. And even in a whole day, 4.5 hours is a lot of flying time. And the other thing I did after I'd done that test is I plugged this back in with the USB-C charge at the bottom, and it was fully charged in a little over 40 minutes from flat. So that means even if you do spend 4.5 hours in the morning flying with your Radiomaster till the battery goes flat, while you're having lunch, plug it into your power bank or your car, it'll be fully charged by the time you've had the last sandwich and drink of the day, of the lunchtime. So there you go. It's not a hindrance to the use of this radio. I'm not concerned about the effective amount of use you get out of it per charge. Of course, you can also go out and buy spare batteries, keep them in your pocket, keep them away from your keys. You might set yourself on fire, but you can also go out and buy separate batteries and have a spare set ready to go if you want to. Well, that's the theory, but as I found out, Radiomaster sent me two of these, the 4-in-1 and the ELRS version. They only sent me one set of batteries, so I thought I'd just go and buy another set of batteries. No. Around here, this is a town of 15,000 people. Not one place sell 18350 batteries. They all sell 18650s, no problem, because all the vape stores have them, but nobody had 18350. So I thought, I'll go online, I'll just get on the interwebs and I'll tickety-tick with my keyboard. And yeah, I found a couple of places in New Zealand that sell them, but one of them was out of stock and the other one was a ludicrous price. And I'm thinking, whoa, what's going on here? So the 18350 battery choice, it doesn't make me happy, but it's not a deal breaker. If you're going to buy this radio, make sure you order some batteries with it, just in case you can't get batteries for the 18350s where you are. But it's a bit of an old wives' tale that the batteries wouldn't last long enough. Now that's in the 4-in-1. In the ELRS version, they may last a little shorter if you're running at full power, 250 milliwatts, because this is only 100 milliwatts. So it's actually 60 milliwatts with a 2 dB antenna. So if you're going to run 250 milliwatts, you may find that you get less than 4.5 hours, but it's still going to be quite a reasonable amount of time. I wouldn't complain too much. When I started back in the day, when we had to carve our radios out of solid granite, we were lucky to get an hour out of a set of batteries, and it took 14 hours to recharge. So you kids today don't know how good you've got it. That's the old curmudgeon speaking. Now, in the interests of thoroughness, I've done a list of things I like about this radio and things that don't spin my wheels too much. To be fair, a lot of the things I don't like about this radio are not faults. They're not flaws. They are personal preferences. Everyone has their preferences. Everyone likes some things more than other things. There's no perfect radio for everybody. I'm going to tell you what, from my perspective, just as me, what I wasn't that impressed with in regarding this radio. So let's start with the bad things. What did I not like about the Radiomaster Zorro? All right, number one, it is the plastics. The plastic. I mean, this is a solid radio. It feels like $1 million. You can't complain about the quality of construction in terms of the actual rigidity of the plastic and everything. But there are a few little niggles that I have. For example, if you look closely just in here, hopefully the camera will pick this up. There is a little. Can we see that? We can see that. See that round thing there? That's a little cover over a hole where you can fit an external antenna. You can fit a different type of antenna in there. There's no connector inside. I don't know why it's there, but if you had a connector inside, you could fit a different antenna. Maybe it's for future projects, I don't know. So they send you a little plastic bung to put in there, but it falls out all the time. It's too small. It's like just a tiny, tiny bit too small. So I put some paper around it and now it stays in. Just a small thing. But something similar happens down the bottom. Let's have a look at this. In here, there's a little cover where it covers up the USB-C for charging and a little DC port for powering this by an external battery. When I push this on, it just doesn't really want to stay it just, it doesn't see, it keeps popping up, and it's just feels a bit crappy, to be honest. It's a small thing. It doesn't detract from the way the radio functions. It's not important in the least, but I just was hoping that it would stay on, and I still can't get the damn thing in. If you fiddle around long enough, you can get it in and it stays in for a while, but it still falls out. It's a bit of a shame. It's a bit unfortunate. And then there's these battery covers. Now, the batteries in there, see, this cover comes off so easily. Sometimes it comes off when you don't want it to come off. And that, again, the engineering of the way it all clips in, I think could have been better, because it comes off incredibly easy. But when you go to put it back on, you've got little fingers that have to be, sometimes it doesn't, wait for it, there'll be a loud bang. There we go. You've got to click all round, and it's not a simple process. It's not a smooth, easy process. It doesn't matter much, because you're probably never going to take them off once you've put your batteries in. But it's just, they may fall off. It's just a small thing. As I said, a lot of this is personal choice. Now, the next thing is the color. Yes, it's black. That's right. Black has sort of been a universal color for years. It used to be universal color for FPV goggles too. All FPV goggles were black at one stage, and I complained bitterly that it was a stupid color, because most of the time you're flying FPV, you're outside and hopefully the sun's shining, so why would you have something black in the sun? Well, I put these two radios on the back of my truck the other weekend, the Jumper T Pro and the Zorro, on the back of my truck in the sun. Summer here in New Zealand at the moment. I came back about 40 minutes later. The Jumper was warm to touch. I could hardly pick this up. It was so damn hot, black and direct sunlight. It just got so damn hot. And that's, That's not good from a number of reasons, a number of perspectives. First of all, hot plastic is uncomfortable to pick up. I nearly burnt my hand, honestly, it was that hot. And secondly, electronics and lithium-ion batteries do not like heat. If you leave this out in the midday sun, you're potentially going to be shortening the life of the electronics, and goodness knows what will happen to a lithium-ion battery if it gets up to 50, 60 degrees in direct sunlight. It's not a good idea. So I noticed on the box that this came in, it had color black. So maybe, just maybe, Radiomaster are going to be offering this in other color options, in which case I would say certainly go for a lighter color. If you intend to fly in the summer and you live in a warm or hot country, get a lighter color. Your hands and the life of the product will appreciate that, because black and full sun, not a very good feel at all. Now, the other thing that, again, a personal thing, is these scroll wheels are brilliantly placed. Again, I'll try and bring it close because I haven't got any bench footage here. Here we go. See, there's some scroll wheels here. Hopefully this is going to focus camera. Scroll wheels there, they fall under, if you're flying with thumbs, they fall under your index finger. If you're flying with tweaking, they fall under your longer finger. Brilliant. Ergonomics, I cannot fault the positioning of those scroll wheels, but they don't have a detent. There's no center detent. There's no physical way of telling when they're in the middle or holding them in the middle, which one of the reasons I use scroll wheels or sliders, as they're sometimes called, is for flaps on high performance things like gliders. And you want a center position because the flaps don't only go down, they go up as well. If you want to have reflex to get more penetration, more speed, or to lose a lot of height quickly, you want to reflex the flaps slightly. And then when you want to increase your lift, you want to slow down or land or whatever, or stay in the lift for longer, you pull down flap. But you need to know when the flaps are in the neutral position, when the aircraft is at its most efficient. But without a physical detent, you cannot tell. Yeah, you can program it so that it'll speak to you and say, center flap or whatever, put it in the voice, you can put a voice thing in there, but it's not going to hold it there. And you'll constantly be thinking, is it still there? And you might have to go tweak it backwards and forwards. Just put a detent. The one thing that Jumper did, one of the things I really praised the Jumper for, was the nice firm spring detents on its scroll wheels. Fantastic. When you put it in the center position, it stays there. You don't have to check it. You don't have to listen for anything. You can just feel it with your fingers. Radiomaster have, previously their detents have been quite weak, and they've probably decided, well, just leave them out altogether. And they've done that. That's their choice. It probably won't affect you if you don't use them the way I use them, but I do, and it's just a little bit of a negative from my own personal perspective. Now, the other one, again, this is just a personal thing, and again, once I commended the Jumper for the 2-finger carry. It's got a handle, see, you can put your fingers under there, you can carry all your models, and this can just be under your fingers as you go out to the flight line. That's brilliant. That saves taking multiple trips. There's no 2-finger carry for the Zorro. You got to hold it in hand. That hand's not, if you're holding the radio, you're not holding anything else in that hand. It's just got, which is a shame. You have to make 2 trips, 3 trips instead of 2. Who knows? But it's just inconvenient. I wish they had put a handle, just a little hook behind the LCD here would have been nice, just a little loop. You could stick one finger on it. A 1-finger handle would be even better, because then you'd have other fingers free for holding other things. But again, may not affect you in the least. And if you really want to have a handle, then you buy the optional carry case that they have, which has a handle on it. I suppose that's one. I guess it's a great way to sell carry cases. They didn't send me a carry case, so well, never mind. Jumper did. And I must point out, always disclose, I got sent 2 of these, the 4-in-1 and the ELRS. Didn't have to pay for them. Doesn't affect my judgment, doesn't affect my reviews, but just got to let you know for the purposes of full disclosure. Right, so that, again, no handle, that's a personal thing. May not affect, you may not care, I do. And finally, because it doesn't come with a case, there's no gimbal protection, but again, that may not be an issue to you. I throw everything in my backpack now. I don't, even if I'm going in the truck to the field, I put it all in a backpack. And if I'm walking down to the park, it's in a backpack. So I need something to protect the gimbals from getting bashed around. The reason I liked the predecessor to this was that it had an LCD screen that folded down and stopped the gimbals from being banged around. This doesn't have it. I have to get the case for this if I want to use it for my daily carry in my backpack. And I don't know whether I'll do that yet. Now to the good stuff. Everybody wants to hear the good stuff, and all the other reviewers have pointed out a lot of these things. I'm going to tell you the things I like most about the Radiomaster Zorro radio. First of all, it's the size. It's the perfect size, at least for me. I've got medium-sized hands. This is just such a good fit. Everything falls into place. The scroll wheels, the switches, the sticks, the balance, I can't complain. The ergonomics are essentially perfect for me with this radio, and that is important because if you don't have good ergonomics, then it's annoying. You're going to reach for a switch, you don't know where it is. An ergonomic radio can make a huge difference to the pleasure, the joy you get from flying, and this is just ergonomically fantastic. I have no complaints at all in respect to the positioning of the switches and the sticks and the scroll wheels and the push buttons. Can't say more than that. Secondly, and this is associated with size, is the screen. It is a lovely, large, monochrome LCD. There it is. It's bigger than the jumper. I never had a problem with the jumper or the previous versions of these. I don't have a trouble with smaller screens. You can see that's got a small screen compared to that. Because my eyesight is now pretty good. It used to be crap, but it's good now, so I don't care about having a small screen. But this, for most people, will be a very, very good size screen, perfectly legible, and that's important. And another reason I love this screen is it's not color. I watch people at our flying field in the middle of summer trying to find some shade so that they can actually just see the screen enough to change models. And the settings. It is it's a comedy because color screens look fantastic inside in the evening when you're showing your friends how flash your radio is, but out in the midday sun in the middle of summer, they're damn near useless. You just cannot see the displays on these color screens. Monochrome screen, the brighter the sun, the better the contrast, and that's, to me, that's what I look for. Now, I did a poll on my community tab asking whether people preferred color or monochrome screens, and the majority do prefer color screens. So this is kind of perhaps a personal thing that I prefer monochrome, but the majority of people, despite the fact that they're almost impossible to read in full sunlight, prefer color. They just like the color. I don't know why, but I'm just a pragmatist. Anyway, either way you look at it, that's a big plus for this radio. Now, another big bonus is the fast charge, as I mentioned before. 40 something minutes to fully charge from flat through the USB-C connector. That's great. And you don't need a separate charger. Any old USB charger, plug in the USB-C, charge at the field, charge quickly at the field. And that's important. Charges quickly. Another big bonus feature is it comes with an SD card. Now that might sound like something fairly, inconsequential, but if this is going to be someone's first radio, they don't want to have to mess around identifying what version of Edge TX is on here, hunting down the right version of SD card with the sound files to then download and image it onto an SD card and then put it in the transmitter. Why should they? The manufacturer can do that in a couple of minutes for a couple of bucks. Why not? And the fact that other radio manufacturers, some of them don't include an SD card, it has always annoyed me. This comes with an SD card with all the sound files and scripts ready to go. That is a big bonus, especially for first-time buyers. And finally, remember when I reviewed the jumper, I complained that it's got this horizontally polarized antenna, which is not a good thing from the point of view of reliable communications with your craft, because the null points are out the side. And if you're standing side onto your craft, if you're flying FPV and your craft's a long way out to the side, you can lose radio link at much lower ranges than you might expect. Now, the Radiomaster has its antenna along the top of the LCD screen. It's behind the back, but it's horizontally polarized. You might think, oh, it's just like the jumper, what do we do? But no, it actually pops up, and it pops up at an angle. So you get the perfect angle for vertically polarized transmission. That is fantastic. You will get much better, more consistent range with your antenna up like that than you do if you've got it down like this. So if you intend flying to the limits of visual line of sight, that's going to be really, really useful to you, and I like that. Even from a purely technical perspective, that is a really, really good idea. Fantastic. In fact, I don't know why you'd have an external antenna if you've got this one that will pop up. Really, really good. On the ELRS version, we'll look at that later on and see how that differs if it does. But again, with ELRS, you want to have a vertically polarized antenna. I see people with their Moxons and their Ts running horizontal. Do not do that. Never do that. That is not the right way. I'm going to do a whole video on why you should not run horizontally polarized systems on model aircraft or drones. And you might be surprised at why. And you might be surprised at just how much effect that has. But there you go. Those are the things that I like and I dislike about this radio. So the bottom line's got to be, should you invest your hard-earned money in buying one of these? Now, if you don't need a new radio, don't buy a new radio. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? Don't buy a new radio just because one comes out. It's not like an iPhone. You don't have to have the latest one all the time. But if you are looking for one of these smaller form factor radios that doesn't compromise much at all in any area, because the old T-Lite, it was a bit of a compromise. It didn't have sliders, and it was really, really small. It only had a single battery in it, which means you couldn't run an external module very easily without fatting around. This ticks, oops, Send me a new radio. This ticks all the boxes. It seems to do almost everything right. My niggles are minor niggles. And they're really things that a lot of them are just specific to me because I'm a grumpy old man and I like things my way. And they probably don't affect you, in which case, just as I ignore those negatives that are not going to have an impact on the way you'd use this radio. And the positives are so overwhelmingly outnumber the negatives in terms of their scope and importance. I could not recommend that you don't buy this radio if you're looking for a new radio. It really does, just ticks all the boxes. So yeah, now if you watched all the other reviews and you've come here and watched mine and decide, yeah, okay, I'm going to buy one of these radios because they look so damn kick-ass, then I would recommend that you find another review. Go and find another review, someone that you respect their reviews, you like to support them as a content creator. Go to the description of their video and there'll probably be an affiliate link where you can go and buy one of these and they will earn a bit of money, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, creating content on YouTube it's a time-consuming and expensive operation, and YouTube doesn't pay much money anymore. No one's getting rich off AdSense these days, off the ads. So these people often require the money from the affiliate links just to keep them going, and we don't want to lose the reviewers we've got. There's some really good reviewers out there. They deserve to be supported. So go and click their affiliate links and buy the product from those links, because I don't run affiliate links. I choose not to. It's just my own personal preference. I want to be, if you're ever in any doubt as to whether there's a commercial imperative, you can come and see what I've got to say. You know there's not even an illusion of commercial imperative, because I don't care if anyone buys the stuff I review. So I don't make a cent out of it. I prefer to say, if you want to support my endeavors, my channel, go to Patreon, flick me $1 a month or more if you want, but $1 a month makes far more importance to me than you buying stuff through a link in my description. So there's no affiliate links down here. Go and find your favorite reviewer and buy it from them. Make sure they benefit from your purchase. Don't just go and buy with an affiliate link, because then you're basically giving money away for nothing. No one's going to benefit except the retailer and the manufacturer. Make sure one of the other YouTubers gets some benefit out of it, will you? There you go. That's it. Now, if you've got questions, comments, go down to the question-y, commenty bit that YouTube thoughtfully provides for that purpose, and I'll do my best to answer it. And stay tuned, because I will be flying with this a lot more. I don't know if it's going to be my daily drive for some of the reasons I've outlined. And to be honest, I still do really like the 4-in-1 jumper. I'm going to be doing a lot of side-by-side flying comparisons. I may do some things like range tests and to compare the different antenna setups and so forth, to give you some more purchasing information if you haven't purchased already. And just because the more time I spend on with these things, the more insight I get into which ones, to me, offer best value, best performance, best features. But at the moment, I'm going to be totally honest, I like the jumper for the reasons that I've explained in the review of that, and I like this. I just wish these two could get together, share some DNA, and produce the perfect radio. Not going to happen, but we can dream. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now.